The purpose of this video is to familiarize you with claim evidence reasoning, which is a pretty important thing in science. Throughout the course of this year, you'll be asked to both write your own claim evidence and reasoning statements, and also to analyze those of others and authors that you read in a variety of different sources. So the relationship between claim evidence reasoning is pretty important. I like to think of it as a pyramid with claim at the top. And this claim is supported by my evidence and also my reasoning. So if you have one without the others, it's not as meaningful as when you have all three of them connected and really supporting one another. Gives you a much stronger argument. So we're going to go through the definitions of each of these three components, and we'll also talk through an example of each, and at the end we'll talk about how the examples really support each other to make one cohesive argument. So a claim is a statement that you know to be true or that you think is true. And this claim needs to be supported. They're not opinions, so you can't say, my claim is that green is the best color. That's an opinion. It has to be a scientific statement. If you're writing it, you're going to write it as a fact. You'll leave out I know or I think or I believe, because you'll show your reader that you know, think / believe that, using the evidence and reasoning components to really back you up. So you're going to make sure that you write it as a fact. Oftentimes the claim is the topic sentence or the concluding sentence in a paragraph. So if you're asked to look for another author's claims, those are good places to start. And also if you're writing your own, you can kind of know the conventions of where to put them. An example of a claim is when a match burns, matter is converted from solid to gas. So pretty straightforward in terms of this claim, and we'll see on the next couple slides how we're going to support that claim. One of the supporting pieces would be evidence, and evidence is data which supports the claim. Sometimes this is statistics. In other disciplines, it can be quotes from primary sources, so somebody who was at an event, or observations from a set of data. This one is pretty key for science. And it can be your data or someone else's. As long as you make sure to cite it, you'll be just fine. And an example of this would be when the match was burned in lab, it lost 0.78 grams of mass. So this is relating back to our claim before. And so this was an example of something we actually measured. You'll notice that the citation is cleverly placed in this front half of the sentence. If you were using somebody else's data, you would want to cite their last name, the year that it came out. But since you did it, this part of the sentence is plenty. And the last piece of this puzzle is reasoning. Reasoning is a scientific principle that connects your claim to your evidence. It's what makes your evidence relevant, and usually we think of it in terms of like a law or a theory in science. Remember, theory means something different in science than what it means in popular culture. Oftentimes, if you think about what is happening at the molecular level, your reasoning will become clear. And in our example here, we have mass cannot be created or destroyed. This part is a scientific law. It's the conservation of matter. So the matter still exists. That's connecting it back to our problem. So it's usually like a two-part statement here, relating a known scientific principle or theory or law to the situation that we're describing at hand. So when you combine these three things, you really get an explanation. And realistically, anytime you're attempting to explain something in science, you should be falling back to this claim, evidence, and reasoning. Summarize it with your claim, tell us what it means, back it up with something that you observed in your evidence or someone else observed by citing them, and then connect it to some kind of law that we've talked about. And we'll make a big deal when we come across these throughout the year in terms of what could be reasoning. But certainly in our first unit, matter cannot be created or destroyed was one of the laws that we talked about, and we can use that to explain the phenomena that we observed in our match lab. Please let me know if you have any questions. I hope this made sense, and you can go on to the practice opportunity provided on your claim evidence reasoning sheet. Thanks.